Today, let's teach you how to do this. We're going to jump to handstand. Now you can see here that I can hold a handstand very easily. I can move between my underbalance and my overbalance and not fall out of the handstand. So that means that my window of balance is big. I have this big movement that I can do back and forth and not fall down. Exactly the same as on my feet. I can go this way and I can go this way. So that makes it much easier to jump to handstand. So we have the balance aspect, and then we also need to learn the jump itself. The other thing you'll notice about when I jump to handstand is that my shoulders stay directly on top of my hands, and my focal point, so where I'm looking, stays exactly the same during the jump and during the catch. This is super important and something a lot of people get wrong. So whatever level you're at, just do this assessment quickly. Place your hands down on the floor, video yourself from the side, and then watch what your shoulders and your focal point does when you jump up to handstand or you attempt to jump. It might be a little hop, it might be going all the way up, and you might not catch the handstand, but we first want to focus on what does the shoulders do, what does the focal point do. What do I mean about the focal point? Actually look down on the floor and pick a point. So if I look at this line here, I'm looking at it now. When I jump, I'm still looking at it. So my focal point is fixed. A lot of people when they jump will do this or this. So their movement is forwards and backwards. And if you combine that with the legs being back over here and then going in this direction, you can see why you'd fail to catch the handstand or fail to make the jump once or consistently. Now to train that, let's go over to the wall. So I'm going to set up that base to start with. I'm going to have the hands 1, 2, maybe 2.5 spaces away, hand spaces away from the wall. I'm going to have my shoulders directly on top of the hands, and I'm going to have the hands roughly shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider. And most people are going to find it easier to turn the hands out a little bit. So I've created that setup. Next thing, shoulders on top of the hands. Now I'm going to pick that focal point like I was talking about earlier. If you don't have something you can look at on the floor, maybe put something down so you can focus on that point all the time. And then all we're going to do from there is get into that start of the jump position. I'm going to drop the hips, but notice the shoulder and the focal point stays the same. A lot of people you'll see will do this. You'll go backwards. Now the issue with going backwards is I need to go forwards when I jump, which sends me in this direction. Now I don't want to be taking the head towards the wall. Number one, it hurts if I hit the head against the wall. Number two, I'm creating something that's much harder to catch because it's a moving target. Where if I have the shoulders directly on top, the focal point directly on top, even when I take the hips down for the jump, that stays the same. Then when I jump, we just practice that. The shoulders stay on top, the focal point stays the same, and the hips are coming up towards getting on top of the shoulders. That's the goal, is to get the hip on top of the shoulder and then the feet on top of the hips. And that's so much easier if that base stays exactly the same. So hands, shoulders, focal point, glued in. Again, video yourself from the side so you can see what you're doing. And then we have the safety of the wall. So we know if we jump really hard, worst case, we're going to go over to the wall. We can come back down again, go again. Now, if you really struggle with your jump, a lot of the time it's confidence, not strength. So you'll see people who do this. You can see there, that's all knee bend. I'm not jumping the hip on top. I should jump the hip on top of the shoulders, like so. And that might just take lots of repetitions to get the confidence to do it, but you might also need to work the eccentric. So to work the eccentric, we create the exact same setup, but now I kick to the wall, and then I come back down through my jump, and then jump back up again. That can really help. And also notice the pathway of my legs. So as I jump now, I'm in a little bit of a frog position. My knees are staying open. I don't have them squeezed together in a tight tuck. I'm not going for a big straddle. So I'm not putting any flexibility demand on the movement. Now, some people will find it easier to squeeze the legs together the whole time, but most people are going to find it a bit more comfortable if you just let the legs be loose. So then when I jump, I don't have to worry about that flexibility. It's just going along for the ride, and it won't restrict me in any way. Now, we can turn the jump around and use the wall in a different way. So this way, exactly the same, hands, shoulders, focal point, but now when I jump, I just try and get my feet to the wall and come back down again. If it feels okay, try and jump higher. And if that still feels okay, I can confine myself into a tighter range meaning that my position now has to go up higher to get to handstand. And that can work really well. And another great tool is if you are stuck on the jump, is to use an elevated surface. Now this seems crazy that you would want to jump with your hands on a high box if you can't jump with your hands on the floor. But what it does is it helps send your energy up. So if I place my hands down here, shoulders on top, and then I'm going to jump as high as I can. I'm not trying to get on top for the handstand. I'm just trying to jump the hip up as high as possible. And this just helps to get that feeling of going up. And if I do that a few times, and then quickly jump down here, now when I jump, it's more likely to send me up with more power if I was holding back before. Now, if you are way more advanced, you can practice your jump on an elevated surface with the goal of actually getting up to your handstand here. But obviously that's more advanced if you're working like elevated handstand push-ups or training on boxes or canes or something like that. And then the elephant in the room, how do we hold the balance? How do we increase that window of balance? Because you might have the best jump in the world and go straight up to handstand, but if you can't balance it, you're just going to slowly lean in one direction, whether that's overbalance or underbalance. So we need to make sure that we're increasing your window of balance so you can actually hold and catch a handstand. The two main ways to do that is back to wall. So I'm going to kick up to the wall here. I'm going to make the body one segment, so push up tall, squeeze the legs together, and then I'm going to push through the fingers to make the heels come off, relax the fingers and go back. First do that for repetitions. Once I can do for reps, I'll go for little holds, always returning back to the wall until I can do it comfortably and hold here for 10, 20 seconds. But that is going to take a while to do that. If it's totally confusing, do the same with your toes. So turn your hat around, put your head against the wall, and then push through your toes so you can get that feeling, that connection from the feet to the head. We're doing exactly the same thing, but using the fingers. Now, like I said, that is going to take a few weeks, if not months, to start to feel that connection very well through the fingers to get it talking to the heels. But something like a handstand practice needs to be practiced frequently, not once a month. So I recommend you do a few of those every day if you can, or at least every other day. And then we have the underbalance. How do we catch and show control here and be able to go to handstand? So the other side of the handstand. The easiest way to train this is scary. It's chest to wall. Now the reason it's scary is because you could go over. I'm using my shoulders to come forwards, to pull the toes off the wall slowly. If I get it wrong, I need to be able to bail. So practicing kicking out a few times, get comfortable with cartwheeling out. So intentionally kicking off the wall is going to help you to build confidence there, like so. So then you can use this drill to help you build that underbalance without worrying about going over. You can have someone here to spot you as well, but if you get the ability to spot yourself, cartwheel out, that's going to help in the future when you start doing freestanding holds as well. So just like the heel pull, we're now chest to wall and we're going to use reps to start with. And it might be very small reps in terms of how much float time you get. 2 bigger float time reps. And I'm pushing up as I come off the wall. 2 holds. 2 longer holds. Again, that's going to take weeks, months, if not a year to perfect that, because that's quite tricky. But once you've got it, that's going to make your handstand bulletproof, meaning the room for error is really, really big. If someone pushes you, you will be able to move around in the handstand just like you can on your feet. Now there's lots of different variations of the handstand jump. There's the one we've been showing today, which is more or less a tuck jump with legs apart slightly. The clean tuck jump is seen with the legs together. And then the other one that's very common is the straddle jump. So as you jump, you take the legs around the outside, pass through the straddle. And you can do pike jumps and things as well, where when you jump, the legs go straight and then go up. But most people are going to learn that straddle or tuck first. You can even do all those variations from a kneeling position, which is really cool as well. Have the thumbs in line with the knees, and then you jump up to handstand there. I cover all of those and more in my handstand balance course. I've currently got 50% off, links are down in the description. Reach out if you need any other help with your handstand training or calisthenics training, and I'll speak to you guys in the next one.